Let's switch gears now. Let's talk about China. The country reaching a deal with Iran on a comprehensive strategic partnership, putting pressure on the U.S. and the Middle Eastern region. Joining us now to discuss it is business and market analyst Seth Denson. Seth, good morning to you.
Good morning, Rachel.
I actually just saw your tweet. I liked how you say China is playing a game of chess here, economic chess, if you will, taking advantage where the U.S. is not. China and Iran reaching that economic deal. So what could this mean for the U.S. moving forward?
Well, I think it certainly means that the power of our sanctions may not have as much weight as they once did. I mean, listen, it also means that maybe even our military measures are weakened. I mean, if you think about Iran and our ability to either economically sanction them or even have the power of the military might, it's not likely we're going to use that military might if facilities in Iran are staffed with Chinese nationals. This entire situation certainly weakens us on the global front.
And what we're seeing that this deal in a Chinese perspective is likely to buy Iranian oil out of frustration from U.S. sanctions, also investing in production in the Middle East. Do you think that the U.S. is starting to regret any sanctions on China?
No, I mean, listen, I don't think we're regretting those steps that we took because we were doing it to slow China's malicious trade practices. You know, what we might regret, though, is thinking that those sanctions were enough and that if we backed down, they would carry any water. We need to realize that in a global economy, that if there's a drip, somebody's going to stick a bucket there. And if we don't continue to do things unilaterally, they carry less and less weight going forward.
I always appreciate your easy to understand analogy, Seth, and it does appear that China is trying to flex its muscles a bit here. We see it through the WHO, through the United Nations. So how dangerous is China being as a world power?
Well, I don't know that I'm ready to use the word dangerous just yet, but they certainly seem to be engaged in brinksmanship. I mean, they're pushing the boundaries constantly, whether that's selling oil to North Korea, expanding military bases in East Africa. As we said at the top, they seem to be playing a game of chess. We don't want to be stuck playing checkers.
Another one of those analogies that I just love. Now, let's talk about that deal between China and Iran. Do you think this will affect the U.S.'s deal and the Iranian nuclear deal as President Biden is looking to get back into it?
Oh, sure. I mean, this is going to significantly weaken our position on any negotiation with Iran. I mean, if they've got China at their back, what's the need to try to cower to anything that the U.S. is trying to accomplish through any negotiation? I think that we're going into this very weak now as a result of this deal.
And if this does, in fact, create some great controversy between the two powerhouse economies in the U.S. and China, what do you see happening with the 2022 Beijing Olympics? Do you think the United States will, in fact, boycott those Olympic Games?
I hope not. I hope we're done with the boycotting thing, and instead, let's just go win everything. Let's send our athletes over there and win. I mean, I think that's your best position of strength to say, we're not going to back down. We're going to show up. We're going to fight on your field, and we're going to win.
We were just talking about boycotting. Rob was discussing that with his panel with baseball and Coca-Cola and Delta and all these companies. And it seems to be the go-to at the moment of maybe that's the way that we get people to listen. But again, as you mentioned, there's other options too. Go, win, come home, and bask in the glory. Seth, let's talk about China dipping, though, a bit to cryptocurrency. They made the yuan digital. So what do you think the plan is here? Do you see China maybe using cryptocurrency as a form of payment in this deal to attempt to overtake the U.S. dollar?
Yeah, I don't know about specifically with Iran's deal, but listen, let's recognize that China wants their currency to be the most coveted currency throughout the world. Right now, it's only 2% of the global currency reserves, as opposed to the U.S. dollar, which is 61%. We still have that power, and China wants that power. So listen, through China's Belt and Road Initiative, this is where they're going into countries across the globe and investing billions, if not trillions of dollars. What they very well may do with this is require payment or encourage payment to be back through this digital yuan. They are making moves in this space while we're sitting back on our heels. And as they do this, their currency certainly gains more legitimacy.
Interesting, of course. Well, Seth Denson, thank you as always for your insights and your brain. We appreciate you coming on Wake Up America.
And my witticisms. Hey,
your
thanks,
witticism, exactly. And analogies.
Witty way to say that. Witticisms.